3 saw the Massive Brain take on the BigAssCoin CB edition. With the overall weekly score tied at 1-1, this week's contest puts one of these titans in first place in head-to-head competition. This week's image background salutes the Detroit Lions for their come-from-behind victory against Minnesota in overtime last Sunday. This win puts the Lions at 3-0 for the start of the season. If you saw this week's picks, you'll remember that I promised to do a little research on Detroit if they won this game. And that is exactly what I have done. Very little research. But enough to know that this is the Lions' best start since 1980, 31 years ago. A quick check of the U.S. population statistics indicate that approximately 40% of the current U.S. population wasn't even born yet. Or hadn't crossed the border yet, I'm not sure which. In any case, congratulations to Detroit, and congratulations to this week's winner, the Massive Brain. This week's contest was more in line with expectations for the efficient point spread theory, in that neither player did great or terrible and only 2 games separated the contestants. It was nip and tuck throughout the morning, but by the afternoon the Massive Brain led by a safety and kept the lead until the matching picks in the Sunday and Monday night games meant the Massive Brain had successfully run out the clock. The summary of wins and losses looks like this. With the Massive Brain in the far right column racking up an impressive 9 wins, and the BigAssCoin a close second with a respectable 7 wins. But just as you don't want to come in second in a gunfight, second place meant a disappointing loss for the BigAssCoin. What is interesting this week is that there were no pushes. Also, I've added a new column on the far right indicating which games were won by the loser. Huh? That's right, won by the loser, because although the loser lost the game, they were the underdog and kept the score within the point spread. As you can see this week, that happened 5 times. The net of which is, you do have to pay attention to the spread when picking teams. I mean, that is, if you don't believe in the efficient spread theory, which states it doesn't matter how you pick the teams, you will end up with 50% winners in the long run. Well, with no pushes, there were 16 winnable games this week, with an overall probability distribution that looks like this. By winning 9 out of the 16 winnable games, the Massive Brain had a 17.5% probability event. The BigAssCoin, on the other hand, won 7 games for a similar 17.5% event on the other side of the peak. Statistically speaking, there was nothing unusual about this week, and it was just a bit of bad luck that the BigAssCoin didn't at least tie. So after 3 weeks, our overall contest looks like this. With 3 yards and a cloud of dust, the Massive Brain has scored again and is now only 8 wins away from its goal line. The BigAssCoin, although down by 1 win overall, is still 1 game closer to its goal line of 8 wins. So the net of this week is momentum for the Massive Brain and pressure on the BigAssCoin to post another win next week. Which reminds me, I need your BigAssCoins to continue this contest. Don't let the Massive Brain win this contest by default. Click the Show More tag below this video's description and get those coins in the mail. Well, that's all for this week's results. Check back for next week's picks in a few days.